Hey guys, welcome back to the show. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about a movie from the last century. Yes, all the way back in 1999, there was this made-for-TV movie that revolved around an invisible child. It was called The Invisible Child. This movie stars Rita Wilson, Victor Garber, who you might remember from Titanic, and Mae Whitman, who played Egg on Arrested Development. Now, I'm not here to say that you should immediately write off a movie that has its credits in Comic Sans, but you should be skeptical. So the movie starts with a woman named Jillian answering an ad looking for a nanny. She goes over to the family's house, and the father, Tim, is just like, "Hey, come look around the house. Here's the dining room, kitchen, bedroom. Oh, and by the way..."
Our other daughter is Maggie. She's 5 years old, and she exists only in the mind of my wife. Miss Malkin, if you think you might want this job, I want you to know how seriously I take the subject of Maggie. She's the most important part of your job.
So basically, Rebecca, who's the oldest child, understands that Maggie isn't real, but her brother, who's 4, doesn't, because he was kind of born into the situation. So then Annie comes home, and can I just say, I would hate to be with someone who is this excited to see me all the time, waving out the car window every time they pull into the driveway. Don't get me wrong, this would be perfect for about 78% of the time, but I mean, do you know what I'm like to live with? I'm probably much more obnoxious than you'd think. I randomly sometimes just come up with little songs out of what I'm doing, just mundane tasks, like turning on the shower or taking out the garbage, and I'm not a good singer. What else? I'm incredibly disorganized. I suck at remembering things. Jesus, like the list goes on and on. So you gotta hate me a little. Otherwise, I just wouldn't trust it. The whole time, I'd be way too skeptical. I'd think I was living with someone who is either completely out of their mind or is a robot in disguise who is going to eventually try and kill me in my sleep. Anyways, Jillian tells them that she has no references and has never been a nanny before.
You're perfect.
Annie.
It's $400 a week, plus room and board and use of a car and 2 days off, of course.
Now, if you think all of that would be enough for me to look after 2 kids and pretend like I'm looking after a third, you're goddamn right it is. Are you serious? $400 a week? Free rent? Free hydro? Weekends off? Get to use the car? Yes? Are you kidding me? What? Hey, while you're at it, throw in an invisible dog too. I'll walk the shit out of that thing. And then I'll clean it up. But here's the moment of truth.
Maggie, this is Jillian. Jillian, this is Maggie.
Hello, Maggie. It's nice to meet you.
Okay, look, all this would take is a little bit of acting, some improvising. Hell, you got the weekends off. Take an improv class on the weekends and you're set. This would be absolutely hilarious. If you look past the whole, mental health issue that's obviously causing the situation. And that's the thing about this movie. I honestly feel like the concept isn't bad, it just needs to be handled in the right way. But in this case, what could be a very dramatic and moving film exploring someone's very serious mental health issues and the impact it all has on her family, we get a movie that I think focuses less on the root cause of the issue and more on the situation at hand, which leads it at times to be unintentionally hilarious.
You go first. Hold on. Good job. Are you okay? Good. We'll be right here, honey.
If you're not going to use that.
My daughter's in there.
Are you crazy?
So anyways, that's it. She's hired and starts moving in. Little does she know what she's in for. A lot of awkward moments and feeling kind of stupid.
You mind pushing Maggie a while?
No.
Thanks. Come on, Sam. What are you doing?
Pushing Maggie.
Maggie's in her room taking a nap.
Your father told me.
That I know Maggie's not real? Right. I do.
So then why are you messing around? First you tell me to push her on the swing, and now you're like, oh, she's not on the swing, she's sleeping. Whose side are you on here, Rebecca? You know what? Hey, there's Maggie right now. Oh, hey, Maggie, what's that? Oh, you think Rebecca should stop acting like a little shit? See, this is why I could never be a nanny. I couldn't handle this situation. There's too much opportunity for me to either get pissed off or have too much fun with it.
Maggie, would you say grace?
Wait, what's that, Maggie? You can't say grace? You renounce your religion? God is dead? See, I would be pulling shit like that all the time. I wouldn't be able to stop. See, this is what I don't get. No one is eating that food. It's just sitting there. How do you delude yourself into thinking that this is all being consumed when all the physical evidence says otherwise? And not just that, but what about clothes, like shopping for clothes? Do you take her shopping for clothes and have her try things on to see if they fit? I mean, the questions just go on and on. So let's talk about Jillian for a second. She's from London. She mentioned that her mother is very sick, and she's never been this far away from home before. And she didn't have a place to stay before this job.
Oh, but honey, she just arrived. She has no place to stay. Do you? Your car in the driveway, it's full of suitcases.
So why is she here? I mean, it comes out later that she's sending the money back home to her mother who's very sick. Okay, fine, but again, the question remains, why did you have to go so far? Why did you have to travel all the way to the US? For what? To get a job that you could have done back home?
Why'd Mom do this?
I don't know.
Me either.
I don't know why Mom did this. I don't know if Jillian can handle it. It's a lot to ask of somebody.
Why do we need her? Mom does everything for Maggie anyway.
We have to trust there's a good reason.
There isn't one. Well, there kind of is, but it's not a really good explanation.
I had no idea you wanted help.
It just seemed time, I guess.
So Jillian is now faced with the task of giving a bath to a ghost, basically.
Oh, did I get something in your eye? Oh, good. I thought I did.
See, now, at the same time, this would cause me a lot of anxiety. I mean, how mentally unstable is this woman? What if she suddenly just runs back into the room like, oh my God, you're drowning her! You're drowning her! I'll kill you! I guess before the start of each day, Rebecca has to mess up Maggie's room and pack her school bag to, again, keep up the whole charade.
Don't forget to eat Maggie's lunch. That's what Dad did.
So they go pick up the kids after school, and Annie goes and starts talking to Maggie. Again, well, what about the backpack? What do you do with that every day? Just keep it buried in the trunk or something? So Jillian talks to a therapist who says the only thing he can recommend is that maybe she talks to someone in child services about the situation, which she does. But this lady just makes the assertion that Tim is abusing the kids, and Jillian is like, what the hell are you talking about? I never said any of that. And child services lady is like, yeah, well, that's what I think is happening, so tough shit. So later that night, Tim decides to tell Jillian how everything started as he makes a pizza. And he talks about how one day she just pretended like she had another kid.
She said Maggie had kept her up all night with colic. Seemed we had a new baby whose name was Maggie. I got as many professional opinions as I could. I learned that she would almost certainly be institutionalized.
So basically, he's just put up with this for the past 5 years because he doesn't want to see her get locked up in a mental institution. And then he says that she blamed herself for the fact that he was working so much, and she was spending so much time raising Rebecca, she thought it was driving them apart.
So she did the only thing she could do. Do it again, only do it right this time.
Well, that still doesn't really make any sense to me. I mean, well, what are you gonna do now that's so different now that you suddenly have 2 kids? It's the same thing. Okay, so this time I'm gonna spend less time with the baby, less time with the daughter I already have, and more time with my husband. Yeah, that should fix everything. That sounds about right.
The funny thing is, Maggie did make everything right again. I came back. I was totally focused on my family.
Hey, that's cool. Are you gonna put that in the oven? because I am blitzed right now and I need it.
When do you think it will end?
When Annie says it does.
Oh my God, finally, thank you. So they all go to the amusement park and want to go on the Ferris wheel, but they all can't fit on one side. So Annie tells Jillian that she and Maggie can go together on their own. But after the ride ends, Annie is now convinced that Maggie has wandered off and is now missing. So Rebecca says that she knows where she is and that her and Jillian will go find her. And the funny part about this is obviously Annie is panicking and really upset. And then it just cuts to a shot of Rebecca and Jillian just going for a stroll. Like, oh, okay, we found her now. Let's go back. And I mean, I know there's really not much else for them to do. I just thought it was kind of a funny cut. Anyways, Child Services shows up at the house and demands to talk to the kids. Obviously, Tim doesn't know what's going on and is pretty pissed about it. So they basically hatch a plan to get Child Services off their backs, all while never revealing what's actually going on. And now Maggie is really sick. So sick, in fact, that Annie is like, we gotta take her to the hospital. So they go there, and Tim has to convince her to let him take Maggie in to see the doctor alone. Then he just makes up a stomachache with the doctor and then comes out.
Usual, aspirin, fluids.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Oh my God, dude, you had the perfect opportunity to kill this kid and you didn't take it? Well, what the hell's wrong with you? It's really not that hard. Just pretend like you're a 1980s screenwriter and get creative with it. Find a way to kill the kid. Even if you don't want to come out and just say, oh, well, she died. Oh my God, she just, I don't know, something happened and she's gone. You know, you don't want to make a big scene. Just tell Annie we'll talk about it in the car. And then while you're driving home, just make something up. Anything. Anything terminal. Oh yeah, you know, honey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Maggie has stage 4 brain cancer. It's really bad, so bad. In fact, it's almost stage 5. You know, she only has a few days left to live. Maybe the weekend. I don't know. We'll see. It's not good though. It's really not looking good. You know, the cancer is really, really cancerous, like super cancer. Anyways, they go to talk to the child protection people, and they basically say, yep, everything's fine. Annie is homesick, so she can't come in, but yeah, totally normal family. Jillian tells them, yeah, everything I said wasn't for me, it was for a friend. And Rebecca is like, yeah, Maggie is just an imaginary friend. Yes, we fooled them! Woo! Now we can go back home and continue dealing with the situation that we've been dealing with for the past 5 years. Yay! They're all super happy that they got rid of the investigation, yet this really does nothing to help the larger issue at hand. But screw it, let's bring Mom a horse. So Annie tells Tim that Maggie is still really sick, even sicker than before. Okay, dude, you got a second shot at this thing. Don't screw this up. All right, the table is set. The kid is already super sick in her mind. All you gotta do is finish the job. So they all come in over the next couple days and have these conversations with Maggie while Annie listens on the baby monitor. And then one morning, she's dead. So now it's time for the funeral, which takes place in the backyard, I guess. I would like to think that Annie didn't demand an actual funeral at this point because she realizes that Maggie wasn't real, but who knows?
Thank you.
And that's it. After 5 years, Maggie just started dying in Annie's mind for what reason? I don't know. I think that's kind of a key thing, you know, showing the moment that lit the fuse, but we really don't get that. So why would her mental state just suddenly change after 5 years? Is it because Annie feels like everything is finally fixed? I mean, she brought in the nanny probably to spend more time with her husband, but it doesn't seem like that changed all that much. I also want to point out that I think the actors did a really good job But the problem here is the story, and I think there's a lot of elements that should have been focused on that weren't. Like I said at the beginning, I think this is actually an interesting concept. I think you could take this idea and make a very interesting story with a lot of character development. However, in this film's defense, it is a made-for-TV movie, so it obviously didn't have a very big budget. And again, part of the problem is that something with this type of subject matter, if you don't present it in the right way, it's gonna come off pretty silly at times, and I think that's exactly what happened here, because in the end, at least for me, it all just seemed really weird. And on that note, that's pretty much it for this one. As usual, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.